The most terrifying event in the Forged in Fire competition is undoubtedly the Wheel of Death. The techniques marked on it are at least those of raindrop pattern Damascus forging. The last time the wheel made an appearance, it led to an unprecedented scene where all contestants' blades broke. Even veteran bladesmiths with decades of experience had their handles break off, shocking everyone. The two contestants in this competition were carefully selected by the judges. One is Ackman, the champion from the same season as Big Ben, and the other is Laner Brown, a JS level bladesmith. Ackman drew the lucky card and was originally allowed to choose his own forging technique. To the judges' surprise, he chose the most difficult one, WS-type twisted Damascus. He admitted that he wanted to challenge his limits and use this blade to earn a chance to compete against Big Ben. Laner, on the other hand, drew raindrop pattern Damascus forging from the wheel. The competition time was set at 5 hours. As the timer started, Ackman, after receiving the steel, first ground it down. Next, he needed to cut the steel into 4 pieces, stack them in a cross pattern for Damascus forging, and forge them together into one piece. But that was just the first step. After that, he needed to extend the forged joint surface 90 degrees horizontally, then cut it into 4 pieces again for a second stacking to create side patterns. Finally, he had to spiral twist the steel billet to form the true WS-type pattern. It had to be said that such a forging technique was extremely challenging, let alone under a time limit. In comparison, Laner's forging process was much simpler. Raindrop pattern Damascus forging was simply ordinary Damascus, forged with water droplet drilling. To increase his chances of winning, Laner decided to focus on the number of layers. His initial stacking was 15 layers, which he then elongated and stacked multiple times. After heat-in, Ackman directly used a press for initial forging, and Fusion then used molds to extend and elongate the steel billet at multiple angles. Subsequently, he cut the elongated steel billet into 5 equal parts and entered the second stacking stage. On the other side, Laner operated every step with great caution. He didn't need to pursue speed, but rather to ensure that no mistakes were made. He used a power hammer to extend and elongate the steel billet, then used a hand hammer to hammer a groove at the tang of the blade. Ackman's progress was very rapid. Now he had completed the second stacking and elongated it to the desired length. Once the temperature was right, he directly started twisting the vortex pattern. Throughout the process, Ackman worked very quickly because once the steel billet cooled down, the oxide layer would enter the billet, which would significantly increase the risk of the blade breaking. Meanwhile, Laner had hammered out the groove, greatly improving the appearance of the entire blade. After shaping, he began using a drill to carve raindrop patterns. Next, he only needed to handle the details before proceeding to the most crucial step, quenching and tempering. There were 2.5 hours left, and to everyone's surprise, Ackman, with his complex craftsmanship, was the first to complete quenching. The blade was straight and had no issues. Laner followed closely behind and completed quenching with equally perfect results. To reveal the raindrop patterns, he used a torch for local heating immediately after he finally ground the blade, and then began assembling the handle on the other side after grinding. Ackman also moved on to making the handle. He decided to make a hidden handle, fixed with copper pins and gel. After completing everything, he further ground the blade and completed acid etching. The competition time is up. Both contestants bring their handsome blades to the judges. First is Ackman's reverse curve combat knife. The blade pattern is absolutely perfect, and the handle is unique and elegant.